before that, we have Path of Exile 2 news. Early access is coming in 2 weeks, and I'm super excited to play that with you guys. Super excited. We're going to go ahead and watch a bit of this for an hour, and then we're going to play some Stalker and have a good time. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to go ahead and start it off here. If we have a cinematic, you know what? Let's do it this way. I appreciate you guys being out here on the screen. That's cool. Awesome. Let's have you guys right here. Let's do this. I have you guys right here, and boom. You guys can be right there. All right, cool. Is that good enough? I think that's good enough. All right, let's go ahead and start this. It's gonna go ahead and it's gonna be starting in like 2 minutes. I can't actually forward it. The live thing has already started. We're not gonna watch all of it. We're just gonna watch the what's important. So we're gonna go ahead and move up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Super excited. Yo, what's up, below average? How you doing? Hey, XCOM JJ. Hope you're doing well, man. You're doing all right. I see you lurking. I should also grab a drink as well. Super excited for this game. Is the sound all right? I'll down it a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Then we'll start this off. Let's do it. Let me go get my drink. Drink! It was my phone. I mean, I knew what it was, but I don't care about it right now. I care about this. Let's go ahead. All right. Let's do this. Hopefully I'm loud enough. I know I boosted the sound in...
Sir, just what are we facing here?
A relic of the old world. Ready your men, Captain. We will only get one chance.
All right.
And remember, when you hear the whispers, call for help. Do not attack.
Looking good, gang.
When you hear the whispers, what do you think he was on about?
It's Dorman, right?
Yeah.
Then Dorman, shut your damn mouth. Ugh, why do I always get stuck with these rookies?
Hey, the kid's got a mean cleave. Give him a chance.
Quiet.
Hmm?
Damn.
Sullen!
Looking pretty crispy.
A mean cleave, eh, Captain? Rookie can't even lift his own sword. Captain Oren? Captain? It's here. Rain! Send the signal!
What the fuck?
Rain! On my back, blade up!
Come on, come on! I'm ready! I'm ready! It's a man.
No, it's not. Run.
Oh, he actually literally ran.
Captain! Captain!
Stop! Humanity isn't ready.
On your feet, lad.
Sir, the captain,
You'll be fine. Here.
Oh, what is this hell? What is this Hellraiser shit?
What is it?
Get the body.
Stop. Mortal. It can still be contained. You don't know what you have unleashed.
Your kind no longer control this world. We cannot destroy your body, it's true. But you will watch as we destroy everything you have built. Bind him!
Interesting.
Feed. Grow, my child. I'll make sure you can eat your fill.
Nice. I like the twist in that. I like that. For a minute there, I thought you were replaying Veilguard and I got scared. How? What made you think that was Veilguard? That was too dark fantasy. What made you think that was Veilguard?
I'm Jonathan Rogers, game director on Path of Exile 2. Now, Path of Exile 2 is going into early access in around 2 weeks on December the 6th. But even though it's early access, this isn't just some small taste. The game is huge. In this live stream, we're going to be introducing everything. Just some
If I
small
was
taste.
playing,
The game is huge.
if I was playing Slime Rancher, then you would think that I'm playing, you know,
Thing you can expect.
the game.
So without further ado, let's roll the gameplay trailer.
Existence is a thing of beauty,
Hey Venom, how you doing?
precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies,
Slime Rancher.
and yet bound to one another. The continuation of life must be protected at all costs.
Whoa, this is dark fantasy.
Some have said my methods are brutal. To this, I say, there can be no salvation without sacrifice.
What are these, like the Mayans? That's the, yep, the sorcerer, warrior. Monk. Oh, that skill tree. You got the sorcerer, we got the witch, we got the mercenary, ranger.
We are faced with the end, and I will do what I must.
What is this? What's that map? Yo, those bosses look really good.
Those who obsess with death, let them soon be acquainted with it.
That's really cool design.
Now, as you just saw, even in early access, Path of Exile 2 is a big game. It's actually been 5 years since we announced PoE 2, and over that time we've revealed a lot, but it's been in bits and pieces. It's pretty hard to keep track of it all, so today we're going to do a full rundown of all the content that will be available at the start of early access. Classes, character progression systems, and for the first time, a full overview of the end game. This is going to be a big one, so get comfortable.
Cool.
For 20 years, Rayclast has been free from any sources of corruption, but the Count of Ogham, tempted by promises of power, intends to harness it once more. The dead are rising, monsters are mutating, and madness is spreading.
Damn.
Under the dark influence of corruption, the Count doles out sentences of death to any who would question him.
So that's how, whoa. So that's how character creation happens. You pick the what you want, you pick the character that you want, and then everybody else dies and then you slip out.
And this is where you find yourself at the start of
This
PoE
is
2.
dark fantasy.
Explore the dark forests of Ogham, traverse the barren plains of the Vasteri Desert, and delve into the jungle ruins of EXILE, an ancient Val city.
Sorry, lag.
There are challenging monsters,
Apologize.
hidden runes, lost.
Don't know why it's lagging. I apologize. We'll back up a little bit.
The Count doles out sentences of death to any who would question him. And this is where you find yourself at the start of PoE 2. Explore the dark forests of Ogham, traverse the barren plains of the Vasteri Desert, and delve into the jungle ruins of EXILE, an ancient Val city.
I think it's just part of the video now.
There are challenging monsters, hidden ruins,
Hopefully it doesn't last long.
lost camps and treasures, roaming merchants, and of course, unique bosses. No two areas are the same. It falls to you to track down the seed of corruption, the source of all this devastation.
Yo, I want to see this man get ripped in half. What the fuck? What is happening? What is happening? Let's see how long it lasts.
On the way, you'll face fearsome monsters, meet strange characters, forge unlikely bonds, and uncover lost civilizations. But first,
Bro, I'm actually getting kind of angry. Let's try revamping it. All right, let's give it another chance. Hopefully,
this is where you find yourself at the start of PoE 2.
we're good.
Explore the dark forests of Ogham, traverse the barren plains of the Vasteri Desert, and delve into the jungle ruins of EXILE, an ancient Val city. There are challenging monsters, hidden runes, lost camps and treasures, roaming.
Okay, so it's part of the video. So are you gonna stop hiccuping? Oh, so there was technical difficulties. Oh, so they're aware of the technical difficulties. Okay, so they're aware of it.
Yourself at the start of PoE 2.
Okay, so it was part of the video.
Explore
Okay.
the dark forests of Ogham,
I think they fixed it.
traverse the barren plains of the
It's part of the
Vasteri
live.
Desert, and delve into the jungle ruins of EXILE, an ancient Val city. There are challenging monsters, hidden runes, lost camps and treasures, roaming merchants, and of course, unique bosses. No two areas are the same. It falls to you to track down the seed of corruption, the source of all this devastation.
Yeah.
On the way, you'll face
Yeah.
fearsome monsters, meet strange
Bryce wanted to
characters,
see that get
forge
ripped apart.
unlikely
She did.
bonds, and uncover lost civilizations.
Titties, nice.
But first, you'll need to pick a class. Now, Early Access will initially have 6 classes available. Let's have a look at them.
There's got to be more
Monk
classes.
is a fast and furious melee fighter. He dashes in and out of combat and has mechanics that involve building up and keeping momentum. Like all classes in PoE2, you'll want to use a wide variety of skills to mix and match different combos. To get new skills, you will first need to find skill gems.
I like how
Using a skill gem will open the gem cutting menu, which shows all the active skills
I
available
might
in
be a
PoE2.
monk.
You can choose an existing skill to level up, or choose to engrave a new one. Since this is a level 7 skill gem, even if you pick a new skill, it will immediately be level 7, so there's no harm in trying out something new. The monk primarily uses the quarterstaff. There are 3 schools of martial arts: lightning, ice, and wind. But don't think you have to stick to just one. The best combos are going to involve mixing elements of all 3. Let's try Killing Palm. Like many monk skills, this can be used to quickly take advantage of a specific situation. If there's an enemy on low life, you can use Killing Palm to dash to them and kill them instantly. This will provide a power charge. Then we can use a different skill to consume that power charge for a much more devastating attack. The monk also has powerful combo skills. Tempest Bell,
Nice.
for example, is a skill that places a giant resonating bell. Hitting the bell causes it to ring, dealing damage to all enemies around it. You can also do things like
That's really cool. And that brings into the fantasy of trying to be a monk. That brings in so they added combos and they made the combat a little bit slower for Path of Exile 2 to give you that feeling that you're actually in the world. Like Path of Exile and even Diablo games back then, it's going in. Path of Exile 2 is what in the world is, bro? Be gone. Path of Exile 2 is basically what they're doing is they're trying to go into Diablo 2, but an upgraded version of Diablo 2, which I believe is the best.
freeze or shock the bell, which will add elemental damage to the strikes. The monk also has a variety of abilities to empower his staff. If an enemy is close to being stunned, you can use Staggering Palm to punch them down. After that, any attack you do will shoot out wind projectiles. There are 21 active skills for quarterstaves, so this just scratches the surface of the options that you have. By endgame, you'll be dashing from pack to pack, spewing projectiles and obliterating screens of enemies with huge
that's so
combo
cool.
attacks. Now, if you like a style of melee that's a little slower but hits much harder, then the warrior is for you. He pounds the
I do
ground
like
with
the
big chunky
slowness.
attacks and can shrug off the hits of small enemies with large amounts of armor.
So we're going with Warrior.
Even though the mace slams are slow, you never lose control. Longer attacks can be retargeted as you go.
Yeah, I like the
and if you
slow
find yourself committed to
animations
a long attack,
of
you
it
can
all.
dodge roll out of it at any time.
I like this style.
Among the skill option for maces, you'll find a variety of slams, fire attacks, war cries, and shield skills. Here, I'm going to slam the ground, rending it apart with lines of fire. Any slam skill will then cause these fissures to erupt with lava. I can even run through them with a skill like Stampede to do huge amounts of damage. The warrior can also use war cries, which can empower your next skill. Seismic Cry, for example, will double any slams from your next attack.
Notice how he's keeping his
Stampede
shield on
counts
his
the
back
slam, so I
and
can
he's
double
using
that
a
for even more
two-handed
craziness.
mace.
If you want to go a little faster and be a little more defensive, equip a shield. In PoE2, you can raise your shield at any time
That's
to block
really
all
unique.
damage from the front.
Now it
even
feels
spells.
like you actually have a shield, like
While
you can
holding
be
up
a
your
thing.
shield, your stun meter will build as you take damage, so be careful. If it reaches
Stun
100%,
meter.
your stance will break and you will be vulnerable.
Stun meter. Yep.
Some enemies also have unblockable attacks, which are indicated by this red flash. If you see one of these coming, make sure to dodge out of the way. Using a shield also gives you access to shield skills, like Shield Charge, which allows you to charge towards enemies and stun them. While charging, you're also blocking the whole time, so you have full damage immunity from the front. The warrior also has access to totems. Some totems have built-in abilities like Shockwave Totem, which can be placed to stun nearby enemies and trigger aftershocks like those from the earthquake. But you can also get ancestral warrior totems, which allow you to use any slam skill in your repertoire. This is a meta skill, which means that it's a skill you can put other skills into. I can take a slam like Sunder and socket it into my ancestral warrior totem. Now when I summon him, he'll sit there and slam the monsters from a distance.
Damn.
There are 20 active skills for maces, so there's a lot more to try out. But by endgame, you're going to be dropping hammers from the sky, leaping fearlessly into combat, and separating the very earth you stand on. Time for some ranged attacks. The ranger is primarily about the bow, but we wanted to make sure that she feels agile as well. In PoE 2, you can shoot while moving. Combined with all the skills the ranger has that allow you to jump around, you will have a lot of mobility in combat. Bow skills have a variety of lightning, poison, ice, and physical attacks. Lightning attacks bounce around between targets.
I see.
You can also stick lightning arrows in the ground which explode when hit by the bouncers, or electrocute enemies to take them out of combat. Ice attacks allow you to slow and freeze enemies to keep them away from you.
Right.
Using poison, not
I
only
like
can
the
you slowly
animation
damage
for
your enemies from
archers.
afar, but also grow some interesting
Jumping away and
plants.
shooting away. Really cool.
With 21 bow skills and all the mobility and combo tools the ranger has,
You can go
take
straight up
advantage
poison.
of every situation. By endgame, you'll be creating hundreds of arrows, be they falling from the sky, bouncing around between enemies, or spraying out of tornadoes.
Damn.
You might have noticed in the bottom left of the screen that the flask slots look a little different. In PoE 2, you have one dedicated life flask slot and one mana flask slot. Flasks gain charges as you kill enemies, and typically allow you to heal 6 or 7 times if they're full. But that's not the only thing you can use charges for. Charms are a new item type that will automatically defend you from various debuffs or damage types. Having trouble with getting frozen? Equip a Thawing Charm. When it's fully charged, it will make you immune to freeze for 3 seconds if you get frozen. To recharge them, just kill more monsters. You can gain more slots for charms by upgrading your belt. The mercenary wields a crossbow that can be loaded with different ammo types, offering versatility, power, and mobility. All classes in Path of Exile 2
This
can be
is
controlled
exactly
with
what a
WASD,
crossbow does.
which makes this
What are you
class
talking
play
about? This
exactly
is
like
exactly
a shooter.
what a crossbow does.
For the crossbow, you will find skills that work like shotguns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, and even grenade launchers. But not only that, there are a wide variety of more interesting elemental
Yeah,
ammos
of course
too.
a crossbow does this.
It's
Of
very
course.
fast to switch between ammo types, as long as you already have them loaded, which makes the mercenary able to combo abilities together for devastating effect. Use Glacial Bolt to create walls of ice to separate enemies, then switch to Fragmentation rounds to explode the ice, dealing massive AoE damage. If I come across an armored enemy, I could use armor-piercing rounds to break their armor, and then high-velocity rounds to take them down. Or perhaps I could fire a gas grenade to poison enemies before detonating the cloud with an explosive shot for massive damage.
Yo, you can
If
use
you
the
want to call off some
poison to
suppressing
make
fire,
an
you can summon
incendiary
artillery
bomb.
ballistas. These have a minimum range, so you'll want to prepare your position carefully before moving in. There are 22 active skills for crossbows. By endgame, you'll be calling destruction down from the sky as you litter the battlefield with
Jeez.
grenades and pepper your enemies with your automatic shotgun. If you're looking to take a backseat and let your minions do the work, then the witch should be your choice.
Yeah, the witch.
She can call forth
Here's
hordes
your
of undead
minions.
monsters to fight for her while casting
This is
powerful
Briar's
chaos
right here.
spells that debilitate her enemies.
Get
Cult
ye
skills are some of
old
the most varied
crossbow
in the
50
game,
caliber.
with skeletons, noxious spells, specialty minions, curses, and sacrificial magic. Before we talk about minions, we'll have to talk about a new resource in Path of Exile 2 called Spirit. This is a spirit gem, which allows you to pick from a range of persistent skills. All classes have a variety of these skills which can add some very interesting effects, like Arctic Armor, which does cold damage to enemies that hit you, or Raging Spirits, which summon fiery skulls each time you cast a
Fiery
fire spell.
skulls? I want fiery
For the
skulls.
witch, though, we'll want to be using our spirit to create permanent minions. These minions will be revived automatically when they die, so you don't have to
Yeah,
worry
I
about
wish there was
resummoning them all
character
the time.
creator. Very true. I think you can mod that in.
Here, I'm using the skill screen to allocate which minions I would like in my horde. You can see the spirit cost of each one.
Nah, probably
Skeletal warriors are cheap, but weak, useful for tanking damage and distracting enemies. But I want more heavy hitters in my army, so I'm going to unsummon some warriors and instead add skeletal arsonists.
Cool animations to put them
Permanent
away.
minions come with special active abilities called command skills. You can order these guys to detonate your own minions for even more damage and area of effect. If you want a bigger army, you'll need a scepter. This new weapon type is imbued with even more spirit, allowing you to summon even more friends. And if you want an even bigger army than that, you can take advantage of corpses to summon true hordes of minions. But what can a witch do while her army is at work? Well, she has a range of chaos spells to spread disease amongst your enemies, or bone skills to impale them. Or, you know, you could curse them to make them weaker so your horde can take them down.
This is already far better
There are 25
than
active
Diablo
occult
4.
skills. By the endgame, you will be the leader of a fearsome army of the dead, consuming everything in its path. The sorceress bends the elements to her will, using them to unleash devastation on her foes. This
Sorcerer?
classic spellcaster weaves a flurry of elemental magic from afar. The elemental skills have everything you might expect and more. Fireballs, icy explosions, lightning storms, you get the idea. Each spell is unique and has many different ways to build and combo with others, even between different elements. For example, Flame Wall conjures a burning line that not only damages enemies, but also empowers all projectiles that pass through it. If you place a wall and fire lightning sparks through it, they'll gain extra fire damage. It's a good idea to take advantage of the ability
even have
to
a visual
automatically
for
swap
it.
weapons when you use certain skills. Having a special staff with bonuses to fire skills and another with bonuses to
I
lightning
do
skills
enjoy the
can
world
really
building
power
of
up a
Diablo
combo
games.
like this.
Yeah.
The sorceress can also take advantage of powerful trigger gems. For example, you could grab the Cast and Ignite gem
D3,
and
yeah.
use it with Firestorm. As you ignite enemies,
I played a lot of
counter will go up
D3,
in the
but-
top left corner. When it's full, a Firestorm will automatically
Reaper
be
of
cast
Souls
to
was
the enemy
good.
that was ignited. There are 25 active elemental skills. By endgame, you'll be firing off projectiles left and right as you rain down elemental storms on your foes. Now, those are the characters that will be available at the start of early access.
And there's
But
gonna
we will
be
be
more.
adding 6 more character classes with just as many skills and options as these.
Jeez.
There's a lot more to come. There's one more important thing to mention about skills. Even though we talk about them as belong to each class, in reality there are no restrictions. You can use all these skills on any class so long as you have the attributes.
What?
For example, a poison ranger might want to try out using occult curses to increase her poison damage. Or a monk might want to trigger elemental ice walls to use with his glacial cascade combo.
Yo!
Possibilities for cross-class combos are practically unlimited. We're looking forward to what kind of things you guys might find. Now, Path of Exile is a game known for build customization, and we haven't even scratched the surface of what is possible yet.
I just want to see a witch
So let's
use a
talk
great
about support
sword.
gems. Path of Exile 2 has a system of support
Sure,
gems that can be
Brian.
combined with your active skills to dramatically change the way they work. If you find a support gem, then right-clicking it will open up this screen. Here you will find a variety of recommended support gems for each of your skills that you can pick between. For example, this is a multiple projectiles support gem and can be used to add multiple projectiles to any skill. Normally, when you fire a grenade, it'll look like this. But if we add multiple projectiles, then you get 3 of them.
Nice.
Once you have the gem, you can also freely move it between any of the skills in your character. If you want to have a multi-shot sniper rifle instead, then simply move the gem over to your high-velocity round skill. Generally speaking, if it sounds like a support gem should work with a skill, then it will work. So it's a good idea to experiment.
Much like Path of Exile 1. Yeah.
Note that you can only have one of each support gem on your character, so you'll want to think carefully about which supports can be used best with each skill for maximum damage. Now, if you want to stick to the recommendations, you should have a perfectly good time. But if you want to experiment a bit more, then uncheck that recommended button and you can see the full list of supports that will work with your skill.
Oh, there's a recommended
There are
button
hundreds
for
of
people
support
that
gems to choose from.
get kind
and
of
even we don't know the
overwhelmed.
results of all the possible ways these can interact.
That's smart.
Each skill can have up to 5
You
supports
can get
socketed into
overwhelmed
it.
in this game.
And if you're clever, you can come up with some pretty interesting ideas. Now, all of this is just scratching the surface. You can make frost vortexes, break people's armor, make minions explode, make skills repeat, make enemies set each other on fire, cull enemies, or pin them to the ground. Supports let you drastically change the behavior of your skills and create your own unique build, or at least follow someone's OP build guide. So,
He
speaking
knows.
Of builds, let's talk
He
about
knows.
one of the
Just
most iconic
follow
Path of
somebody's
Exile
OP
systems,
build guide.
the passive skill tree. Yes, it's huge. There are over 1,500 nodes on there.
Broom is greater.
Now, a lot of people
is
open
better
the
than a
tree
great
and can
sword.
get a little intimidated at first, but try not to be scared. There are lots of options, but at its core, it's pretty simple. Each level you get 1 point to put into the tree.
That's a skill tree
Each
right
class
there.
starts at a different location, but they all share the same tree. Around your section of the tree, you'll find relevant bonuses for your character. You should be safe in the knowledge that there aren't many wrong choices here. Almost all the starting nodes will be useful for your character in some way. But if you do happen to make a choice you regret, you'll be able to respec any nodes you've taken by spending a little bit of gold. Now, the tree is generally divided up into clusters which have similar themes. In each cluster you will find small nodes that give simple bonuses like increased damage, but the real power comes from notables. Notables normally have much more interesting bonuses, and they tend to care a lot more about how your build works and what skills you're using. For example, in the mercenary area of the tree, this one gives a 25% chance for crossbow skills to not consume a bolt. And here's one that gives grenades a chance to blow up a second time. This one gives a chance for projectiles to rebound off terrain, as well as giving you some pierce chance to make that more likely. Note that even though this is in the mercenary section, this would work with projectiles from all classes, so there are often reasons to go to different areas of the tree.
Nice.
In order to get between these clusters, you will generally have to allocate nodes in the attribute highways. Attribute nodes allow you to pick which attribute you would like to use, so it's very easy to get points for any attribute that your gear might need. You can change which attribute these nodes give you for half price at the respec vendor. In addition to notables, you will also find even larger passives called keystones.
And they're actually giving you a lot of information with what exactly the node is. But this is actually a more, even though it's a lot bigger, it's more simplified, which is probably the biggest thing that they were worried about, is how do they bring in the casuals. And to see a giant skill tree, like the guy just said, it can be very like overwhelming. So they not only added like a recommended section for skills, but they also gave you a chance to be like, oh, you can go wherever you want and still delve into something that you enjoy. Also, you can refund and then change your build to anything that you want. Also, notice that the skill tree is not sparkling with fucking like faggot colors everywhere. That's also a good thing. I think that's great. I think the yellow line right here is good enough.
Keystones have both an upside and a downside, and often
Just
require
glitter
changing your
everywhere.
entire build to design around them. A great example is Giant's Blood, which allows you to wield two-hand weapons in a single hand, but doubles the attribute requirements of them. You can use a two-hand mace with a shield, or even dual wield them.
Wait, what? You could dual wield
How
two
about
heavy?
Mind Over Matter, which makes all damage go to your mana pool first before your life pool.
Yo, you can
lose
change
50%
the rules of your
mana regen.
perks?
Skills like these can be tough to build around, but if you're up for the challenge, they can be very rewarding. As we showed you earlier on the Sorceress, you can swap between weapon sets on the fly as you use certain skills.
Right.
One of the new features in Path of Exile 2's passive tree is that you can choose to have your passive tree change as you switch between weapon sets to take advantage of specific bonuses on the tree.
That's
For the
something
Sorceress, you might want to change between fire and lightning special.
that is so... People have wanted this. They wanted a perk tree. People have been begging for a perk tree loadout. They have been begging, and they finally did it. So good. So good.
Specialization.
On the fly.
Or you could switch between one hand and a two-hand setup in order to be able to block boss attacks while following up with heavy hits from your bigger mace.
Oh, that's
or
the guy
perhaps
that
you could have a
was...
full curse setup on your witch to debuff enemies before switching to a chaos degen build for maximum damage. If you want to stick with just one weapon set, you can just use these specialization points as bonus points to invest however you like. But creative
bonus
players will
points.
find plenty of opportunities with this system.
And you could just stick with one
You
with
can
the
get weapon
bonus points.
specialization
So
points throughout the
fucking
campaign
smart.
from optional bosses and quests. For example, if I manage to defeat the Crowbell, I'll get a weapon specialization book. There are lots of other permanent boosts available from the campaign too.
Map.
On the map, you can see icons that indicate the many optional encounters you can find. Some of them have permanent character boosts, and others have powerful
Permanent?
items. If you're having trouble getting past a boss, it might be a good idea to explore and see what you can find. For example, if you defeat Blackjaw the Remnant, you'll gain a permanent increase to fire resistance. One of the most important finds are spirit bonuses. You can find the first one here in the canopy in Act 1. Defeat the boss in this area to acquire a permanent addition of spirit.
Nice.
The permanent buffs you gain from spirit are very powerful, and every class will find a use for them, so make sure you hunt down these upgrades. There's one in each act. Now we haven't
One
even
in
talked about the
each
most
act.
important element of
Interesting.
character
I'll get-
progression,
yeah, I'll get 'em.
items. That's why we're all here, right?
Items. We're all about
Items in
that
Path of
loot,
Exile
aren't
can
we,
be
chat?
broken down into 4 rarity groups: normal, magic, rare, and unique. One of the things you're going to want to do as you play through the
Somebody said, quick check Blizzard stock prices to see if there's been a drop. I'll be honest, Diablo 4, they got their money. They got their money. They're not in the red. Diablo 4, they got their they got the whales. They got me. They definitely got me. And they got like DLCs, and a lot of people do play it. They did. It took them a while to fix a lot of their shit, but they got us. They did.
The campaign is upgrade the items you find.
Otherwise, that
and you can
DLC
do that
wouldn't have
with
been
currency
made.
items. An orb of transmutation will allow you to upgrade a normal item to a magic item with one
But I don't
mod.
care. I want
You
Path
can
of
then
Exile
apply an
too.
orb of augmentation to add a second mod.
A free game,
then
by
use
the
a
way.
regal orb to add a third mod, and upgrade it to a rare. Finally, you can use some exalted orbs to add more mods to your rare to a total of
that's cool.
6 mods.
Increase the rarity by using those orbs.
One of the things we think is really important is to make these options available to use as you play. All the items that add mods are much more common than they were in Path of Exile 1, so that you can use them throughout your campaign playthrough. We want you to find things on the ground that can be crafted into upgrades much more frequently. As well as making the drop rates on these items much more common, you can also get them by disenchanting unwanted gear at the magic item vendor. If you disenchant magic items, you can build up to an orb of transmutation.
Somebody said something really important. Hobo said, Path of Exile has got to improve their storytelling as well in the future. Abso-fucking-lutely, they should. There's actually a trailer that was actually really well put. I think you might have missed it. That actually has me really intrigued. But yes, I know that storytelling is like second or third place when it comes to Path of Exile, but their world building and their lore, I know there's a few people that do it, but I know more about Diablo lore than Path of Exile. But that's starting to change because Path of Exile is starting to move forward, and they're still like sort of a AA or indie developer, and they still do their own thing. They're not tied with Xbox. They're not tied with PlayStation. They can do whatever the hell they want. They got their own studio, and they got their own money, and they got their own convention. Man, they got their own convention. Is that fucking crazy? Their own convention called ExileCon. So they are set for themselves, which is really, really good.
Mutation, and by disenchanting rares, you can build up to regal orbs. Another important area of crafting items in PoE 2 is sockets.
Yeah, true,
Some
Val.
items you
True.
find will have sockets that can have Ezomite runes placed in them that add more mods to the item. If I insert this glacial rune into my helmet, it will give extra cold resistance. This is a great way to solve problems that you have with your build, like resistances or damage. If you find socketed items that you don't have a use for, you can take them to the salvage bench in town to work towards an artificer's orb. This will allow you to add sockets to your existing items.
Ooh, that's
Body
good.
armors and two-hand weapons can have up to
That's,
2 sockets, while the rest of your armor and one-hand weapons can only...
That's one thing I didn't like, is the fact that I would find a weapon that's good and it didn't have a socket, but I found a random pair of boots and it had like 4 sockets, and I'm like, well, I like these boots because I have 4 sockets, but this thing, it's like no sockets, but it's a really good item. But the fact that you can create sockets on that on your existing armor and stuff, that's good. That's good. There's so much agency and choice to your build in this game that outweighs so many other ARPGs.
only have 1 socket. You can also salvage items with quality to create items like armor scraps or whetstones. These will allow you to increase the quality of your items for an up to 20% boost. If you don't want to disenchant or salvage your items, you can always sell them for gold. Gold can be used to buy items from vendors, and we've tried to do a lot to make sure that the items they have for sale are actually useful. Every time you level up, they get more stock.
Nobody
so make
goes
sure
to
to
the
check
store.
back often.
Nobody does.
Other vendors offer a gamble. Pay a flat amount of gold and you'll get a random item of a specific type. This could be a great way to improve your gear, if you're lucky. Gold is also used to respec your passive skills. Take advantage of this.
That vendor where you can get a random rarity or a random item is a cancer to my fucking soul. That little vendor that he showed off, that one right there, the random crossbow, depending on, it is the bane of my fucking existence. 'Cause you can get good shit. You can. But I'm just like holding like 500 swords, and I'm like, nah, man. Trust me, bro. I'm gonna get something good. I have to stay away from it. I have to.
For a gamble, pay a flat amount of gold and you'll get a random item of a specific type.
I'm staying away
this
from
that. This
that.
could be a great way to improve your gear.
Nope.
If you're lucky.
Nope.
Gold is also used to respec your passive skills. Take
Yeah, I'd
advantage
rather
of the system
grind
to
mobs.
experiment with your tree and rework it as required.
I'm staying away from the gacha.
The other thing you might want to use gold for is the currency exchange. This allows you to exchange currency items with other players on an open market.
I love this UI.
In exchange for a small gold
love
fee.
it.
Now, all items in Path of Exile are freely tradable. We never bind anything to your character, except gold.
Except gold.
Now,
Yo.
most gear in Path of Exile 2 is randomly
I'm not sure if that
generated,
was in Path
but
of
there's
Exile,
another type
but-
that isn't. Uniques.
Bro, that's...
They are especially rare.
You cannot do that in Diablo. You cannot do that in any other ARPG. You can't even do that in most MMOs. The fact that they're just like, you could trade stuff except your money. That's it. If you want to do this whole thing where you're just like, there's always going to be, what's it called? RMTs. There's always going to be those people that are just making a character called Zib Zab Zoob. And yeah, you're going to do a trade and you're going to trade a rock for a rare fucking item that you wanted because you just spent $5 online. It's going to happen anyway. And so the fact that they're just like, okay, we need to focus more on fun and just go from there and then see what we can do from there. But there's so many choices. I've watched so many Path of Exile 2 videos that there's so many choices, so many ways for you to find the build and item and loot that you want, that to spend money to get something is completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous, because you'll just find yourself like immediately changing an item because you found something. That's one of their focal points, is they're trying to get rid of loot bloat. Loot bloat, does anybody know about that? Where it's just like, oh, you beat an enemy or a rare enemy. That's great. Now you just got all this random loot that doesn't do anything for you. They're trying to get rid of that as best as they can.
Yeah,
that's
each
good.
with a handcrafted set of unusual mods which can dramatically change a character's build. They're not just better rare items, they can do much stranger things that can fundamentally change your character. Corpse Wade will make any corpses you run through explode into clouds of poison. The Sands of Silk is a body armor that changes your dodge roll into a blink, morphing you into sand as you teleport past your foes.
That's cool.
And of course, some uniques are just pure hits of dopamine, like Quill Rain, which just turns your bow attacks into full auto by doubling your attack speed. Each unique is something that you can build your character around.
I love that
We try
screen.
to make sure that most unique items have a potential use at endgame, even if you find them early on. And as you can see, every single unique item comes with custom art to match.
Titties. About time.
The last character progression system that you can do during the campaign is
That's my
Ascension.
girlfriend right there in the back, right there.
Starting in Act 2, you will come across Ascension trials, tests that you must complete to unlock your Ascension class.
Ascension
We'll
class.
explain these trials soon, but first let's take a look at what Ascending can do for your character.
Ascension trials.
Each class has access to 3 Ascendancy classes, but at the start of Early Access, only 2 per class will be available.
Starting.
Ascendancy classes are unique to each character class, so choose wisely. They can drastically affect how you...
So kind of like Ragnarok, or kind of like what's it called? The Ascension class with Black Desert Online, something like that. That's really cool. So yeah, let's see what happens.
you build your character. As a sorceress, you could become a Storm Weaver, a master of the elements. The Tempest Caller causes elemental storms to be summoned each time you do a critical hit with a spell. With Strike twice, you can stack 2 copies of Shock.
Annabelle, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Is there a bard class? There are going to be new classes, but damn, a bard class sounds dope. Chat, make
For
sure you
more
show some
damage.
love.
And going deeper into the tree, you can make all your damage types apply shock. Make a shock build from any skill. Alternatively, you could become a chronomancer and command time itself. She literally has the ability to stop time with time freeze. Not only that, but she has many other time manipulation abilities. Using temporal rift, she can teleport back to a previous location, resetting her life and mana back to what it was. Or with time snap, she can reset all her cooldowns.
Hold on.
All her spells again. Your damage type supply shock.
Hold on.
Make a shock build from any skill.
Hold on.
Alternatively, you could become a chronomancer and command time itself. She literally has the ability to stop time with time freeze.
Just Ipunda. Zawardo. Ho. So you could just Zaward. Okay, cool.
Not only that, but she has many other time manipulation abilities. Using temporal rift, she can teleport back to a previous location, resetting her life and mana back to what it was. Or with time snap, she can reset all her cooldowns and cast all her spells again. On the warrior, you can choose between the Warbringer or the Titan. The Warbringer channels the might of his ancestors to gain tremendous power. Using Answered Call, you can summon ancestral spirits linked to each of your totems.
Interesting.
With
So a
Jade
minion
Heritage, you can encase your body in a protective layer that absorbs all damage until it breaks.
Nice, you can go full-on
Warcaller's
tank.
Bellow allows you to explode the corpses of your enemies. And with Great Wolf's Howl, you can ignore the cooldowns of your war cries. Let all that anger out. The Titan class is all about hitting big. With Earthbreaker, every slam is a chance to create an aftershock. With Crushing Impacts, every hit becomes a crushing blow, which will allow you to stun your enemies with ease.
I like the fact that
I
like the fact that they said, let's just keep it real simple with the warrior, because anybody that's doing warrior doesn't want to think. They don't want to have some sort of crazy build. Let's just give them the unga bunga that they want. And so they see this and they're gonna be like, and I'm like, perfect, awesome, we got him.
In Strength, you can take advantage of stunned enemies to deal 40% more damage.
Let's not try to confuse the warrior.
You might choose to be a Deadeye, an expert markswoman who can take down foes with style. With endless munitions, every attack gains an extra projectile.
Okay.
With Gathering Winds, she gains a small increase to movement speed with every attack. But be careful, she loses them when getting hit.
Okay, so
with Eagle
evasion.
Eyes, she will never miss, allowing you to stop wasting all those passive points on accuracy. Alternatively, you could become a Pathfinder, the master of flasks and poison.
Flask and
She can
poison.
choose from one of several
They're just gonna
throwable
choose that one.
concoctions, allowing
I'm
her to
sorry,
spend
the other
her
one is
fast
boring.
charges to throw explosive bottles that deal various types of damage. A bleeding concoction will make your enemies bleed, while a fulminating one can shock your enemies, allowing you to do extra damage. Contagious Contamination allows her to spread poisons between her foes, while overwhelming toxicity doubles the number of stacks they can be infected by. Running Assault allows her to move much more quickly while firing, while Relentless Pursuit makes her totally immune to being slowed by enemies.
That's really good.
The Witch
Yeah,
can
they're just
ascend
gonna
into
choose
the
that one.
Infernalist or the Blood Mage. As an Infernalist, she can summon a loyal Hellhound companion. The Hellhound sets enemies on fire,
this is
as well
Briar's
as taking
class.
a percentage of the damage if the Infernalist gets hit. With Pyromantic Pact, you can turn your mana into Infernal Flame.
You just said Briars gets a hell doggy. Everybody's gonna choose that class. He's like, you get a dog that's just molten lava. And I'm like, you just chose... Nice job. Everybody's going to choose that one. It doesn't matter what the other one is.
As you cast more spells, the flame builds up, and if it overflows, you'll take damage.
Really cool class.
Using Bringer of Flame, you'll want to make sure you keep the flames topped up. While your Infernal Flame is above 30%, all damage from you and your minions will ignite enemies.
Yo, is that the water effect?
She can also transform into a literal demon.
Go back.
With Pyromantic Pact, you can turn your mana into Infernal Flame. As you cast more spells, the flame builds up, and if it overflows, you'll take damage.
Oh, too much
Using
flame.
Bringer of Flame, you'll want to make sure you keep the flames topped up. While your Infernal Flame is above 30%, all damage from you and your minions will ignite enemies.
Look at that water effect. Look at that. That is amazing.
She can also transform into a literal demon.
The other class doesn't matter. Look what you've done. You gave them a hell doggy. You gave them liquid hot magma. And you gave them a hot ass demon bitch. The other one doesn't matter anymore. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Take a screenshot for research? No.
While in demon form, she takes an increasing amount of damage.
Me smash, yeah.
But her cast speed and damage increase rapidly as well. So if you're planning on transforming into a demon, make sure you stack a lot of life recovery. She can also become a blood mage, a master of life and energy. All blood mages must pay the price of making.
Dragon Age, you fucked up. Somebody else said, we'll do it. This is what happens. This is what happens when you fall the fuck off. Somebody else does the job. It happens every single time. Every single time. This is what happens when you fucking fall off. When you don't stick to what you are. When you don't stick to what you are, it doesn't matter if you got Gears of War 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter if you have Dragon Age 1, 2, or 3. If you do not stick to what you are, then you're for no one. And then someone else will take your place. Boom. There it is. There it is. There it is. You're gone. There it is.
Making skills cost life as well as mana, but in exchange, every monster they kill will drop life remnants.
Oh, look, a blood mage. Look at that blood magic. What a nice thing to include in the game, giving players choice. Yeah. Ooh, a demoness? I told you Briars was in. I told you. I told you. It was happening. I told you. I told you. It's easy.
Which allow them to quickly gain back that life. With Crimson Power, she can gain large amounts of extra life, and with Vitality Siphon, she can use her spells to leech life back.
Nobody's gonna choose the blood
Once you've
mage,
got a significant amount of life, you can use
not
Claw
after the
Spike
demoness
to make your
thing
critical
you
hits
showed.
deal incredible amounts of damage. A monk who is in tune with the elements might become an invoker. With Elemental Expression, the invoker will create waves of elemental power each time he does a critical strike. With Faith as a choice, you gain the ability to meditate, allowing you to double your energy shield.
That's cool.
Choose between I am the Blizzard or I am the Thunder to specialize in cold or lightning. And I Shall Rage will allow you to turn into an unbound avatar. Each time you apply a status ailment to an enemy, you gain Unbound Fury. When you have enough, transform into an avatar to deal way more damage and inflict even more elemental ailments. Some monks choose to reach into the darkness instead. The Acolyte of Chayula can exchange their mastery of spirit for darkness, a resource that can be utilized to both absorb and deal damage. The Shroud
They're like, I don't want any of that gay shit.
Damage incoming. But if you take Grasp of
Channel
the
the demon,
you will deal extra chaos damage from all the darkness you have. Their Dark Pact offers greatly increased resistances to chaos damage and can allow their mana leech to not only happen instantly, but apply to their energy shield as well. Another node you can take is Waking Dream, which allows you to see into the domain of the Breach Demons. There you will see the Flames of Chayula that can be taken to gain life, mana, and damage.
Damn, that's cool. Yo, I might be that.
Has a job to do, but which job suits you? You might choose to become a Witch Hunter.
Witch Hunter.
Obsessive Rituals will give you a sorcery ward, allowing you to defend yourself against elemental hits in exchange for less defense against attacks. With Zealous Inquisition, your enemies have a 10% chance to explode on death. The chance is doubled against demons and undead. With Judge, Jury, and Executioner, your initial hit against enemies can deal up to 30% of their life and damage, if you're lucky. This is great for hunting powerful bosses. And with Witchbane, you can break your enemy's concentration, preventing them from casting spells as often as they would usually do.
What?
You could also choose to become a Gemling Legionnaire and damage, if you're lucky. This is great for hunting powerful.
Whoa. Okay, so this, the mercenary might be really good for taking down bosses.
And with Witchbane, you can break your enemy's concentration, preventing them from casting spells as often as they would usually do. You could also choose to become a Gemling Legionnaire, enhancing your abilities by embedding gems directly in your flesh. Integrated Efficiency will give you extra skill slots. Thermatological Infusion gives you extra maximum resistances as you sock up more and more support gems. Adaptive Capability allows you to use any color of gem without worrying about attributes, while Crystalline Potential adds extra quality bonuses to every gem socketed into your character. So those are the Ascendancy classes for the start of Early Access. But one thing we haven't talked about...
You have to do an animation for socketing gems into your own character, because that would be really cool if there's an animation or a showing that there's glowing gems on that said character. I know that people are going to change the way they look, but it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be like, you know, like super, you know, like intricate. It has to, you have to show that this person is indeed what you're, you know, has indeed ascended into that sort of class. Sort of put like lights around the character of like green, red, you know, blue, different gems, you know, purple for like lightning. You have to show that. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, well, apparently my skills are better now. And I'm like, how can I tell? Well, you know, plus 12% to quality of all my skill gems. Yeah. That's how you know. You see? Does that sound funny? You have to show it.
Yet is how
Show
you
and
ascend
tell.
in the first place. Ascension in Path of Exile 2 requires completion of one of the great trials,
Hobo.
which you'll find as you
Oh,
progress
you have
through
to
the
do
campaign.
a trial to ascend.
Each
That's
one is
cool.
associated with one of the major cultures of Rayclast. Located in the Vasteri Plains are the
That's cool.
Maraketh, a culture of rich tales and brutal traditions who must do whatever it takes to survive in the desert. The highest position in Maraketh culture is a
who the fuck is
Sekima,
that?
and it is not a title given freely. All aspirants must complete the Trial of the Sekimas, a grueling gauntlet that will test their strength, will, cunning, and patience. To enter, a warrior of the Maraketh must prove their worth by trapping the soul of a djinn in a coin, and you are no different. Once you have earned your coin, it may be placed on the relic altar to begin the trial.
They do really well on animations.
In the Trial of the Sekimas, each room has its own challenges to overcome.
Okay.
In this room, each rare monster you kill will send its blood to the chalice in the center of the room. Once the chalice is filled, you will be able to proceed. While fighting monsters in the trial, you will need to be very careful. Each hit will not only hurt you, but will damage your honor. The monsters are well telegraphed so that you can avoid their attacks, but if you run out of honor, you will fail the trial and need to find another coin in order to try again. It is a good idea to make sure that you are well prepared before
And there's
challenging
no
the Trial of the Sekimas.
arachnophobia mode in this shit. You're just, the only way to deal with
After
your
each room, you will be
arachnophobia is
rewarded.
to kill.
In this case, you have been given a key that can be used to unlock chests later
Simple
in
as
the
that.
trial. Once you have claimed your reward, you will be shown a map of the rest of the floor and may choose how you wish to proceed. Which challenges would you like to face?
I
and
wanna
which
do this so
rewards do
bad.
you want to claim?
I want this.
Some rooms are more dangerous, afflicting you with debuffs that will persist for the entire trial. For example, entering this room will afflict you with Spiked Shell that will cause all monsters in the rest of the trial to have 50% increased life. You will want to take care if you choose such a path. There are many different challenges and rewards as you journey
Go
through the
get a
trial.
blindfold
Deadly
or a
traps,
flamethrower.
waves of monsters, and
You
strange
hate spiders?
artifacts will
Kill it.
test your honor.
There you go.
As you
Win.
progress, you'll be able to gain boons from the djinn, which will help you on your journey. For example, the Sekima's cloak will revive you once if you die, giving you a second shot at a run.
Oh, you get little buffs and
One of
modifiers
the
when you're
rewards
in
you may
there.
find is Sacred Water, an extremely valuable and treasured resource to the djinn and the Maraketh. Trading it with the djinn will allow you to receive many benefits. You can recover honor, gain additional boons, or remove afflictions. At the end of the floor, you'll find a powerful boss which will truly test your limitations. In order to ascend, you will need to defeat him.
Love the UI.
Having defeated the boss, you've earned the right to ascend. But first, the loot. The keys you have found may be used to open the various
Don't do
treasures in
this
the
to
vault
me.
at the end of the floor. We only have a single bronze key, so we'll just have to open one of these small chests.
Oh,
If you want to open the better ones, you'll need silver or gold keys. Let's use the Altar of Ascendancy. Your first ascension will allow you to pick your class and grant you 2 points to use in the tree.
why are you going blood mage?
Now there are
Stop
more
playing.
floors and many more rewards that can be found
You wanna
within
be
the
a
Trial of the
a
Seconds.
hot demon,
We'll
bitch.
save that for
Stop
the section
playing.
on the end game. For now, let's talk about the second Ascendancy trial, the Trial of Chaos. In Path of Exile 2, you can choose whichever trial you like to earn your ascension. Each culture on Rayclast had their own methods to ascend. If the Trial of the Sycamores is not
Interesting.
your kind of playstyle, or you're finding it too difficult, you could try another. You can gain all your ascension points from just one, or mix and match them. It's up to you. For
Interesting.
early access, we will have 2 trials as options, with a 3rd trial coming later for the full release.
Okay.
While exploring the Vaal jungle, you'll discover the Temple of Chaos. Before the Vaal embraced the science of corruption, their civilization worshipped chaos. This ancient trial was once used by the Vaal to test their high priests. A high priest of the Vaal must show willingness to risk everything to gain power. Entry to the trial requires a token from a strange entity known only as the Trial Master.
Yo, that's
For those
cool.
in which he sees potential, he shall inscribe an ultimatum.
Fight him.
Many have attempted these trials in search of greatness. Most have perished. Will you be able to defy the odds? Before you begin each chamber, the Trial Master will offer you a reward and a choice.
Yo, this guy cool.
Choose one of 3 tribulations to affect you through the rest of the trial. These modifiers might beef up the monsters, curse the player, or add environmental hazards like turrets or trap runes. In this case, we'll be picking shocking turrets.
You. Why would you do that?
As you
Fine.
enter the room, the Trial Master will fill it with hazards to test your commitment. In this case, you must destroy all the monsters that fill the room, while dealing with the lightning projectiles from the shocking turrets.
Alright. The mercenary class looks really fun.
After each room, you will need to make a choice. Take the rewards you have earned so far, or go double or nothing. Increase your rewards, but take on more risk.
Double it and give it to the next guy?
Each tribulation you add is minor on its own, but they quickly stack on top of each other and can become overwhelming.
Oh, he's doubling it.
There are many types of chambers in the trial. Each will test your resolve in different ways. This one simply requires you survive for a certain amount of time. Another requires you to escort
His
the
job
stone
is
idol
just
through
to
the
fuck
riddle as
us
elevators
over,
full
yes.
of monsters descend to attack you. Should you be able to get through the first 3 chambers, you will face your first boss. The order of the bosses is random, and combined with the tribulations
Yeah,
you've
this is
selected,
PoE
the fight
too,
will never
Radzik.
feel the same.
Yo, giant burb.
After defeating the boss, you may claim your rewards. Of course, there are the items, but you also gain the right to ascend.
A Val orb. We all
If you
want
already
Val
did the
orbs.
Trial of the Sycamores, then you can claim 2 more points to add to your Ascendancy class.
Yeah, Witch Hunter. Absolutely.
Now, it's possible to go much deeper. There are more bosses, rewards, and risks to take, but we'll talk
shit.
more about that when we get to endgame.
Shit, man. You saw
So
that?
how about we talk about that now? So far, we've only been showing you footage from the campaign, but some people would argue that the endgame is where the game truly begins. Something that
kinda
happens
right.
almost every time a new action RPG launches is people saying, there isn't enough endgame content.
He's
Well,
right.
we want to make sure that in PoE 2, people
He's
don't
right.
feel that way.
He's
And
not
we
wrong.
actually only changed our development priority for this recently. The first 3 acts of PoE 2 already take around 25 hours to complete if you're a new player. This is already a pretty significant campaign.
That is.
On the other hand, people spend hundreds of hours in endgame each league. We realized that finishing the rest of the campaign for early access was actually a bad idea. Instead of having acts 4 to 6 in early access, we could concentrate on endgame and make that great.
Make it great again. Ah, I see where he went with that. I want y'all to know. I hope anything that was beneficial, that was actually some good ideas from Diablo 4, from their new expansion and their new endgame. I hope they stole. I hope they stole all the good shit. I hope they just said, "Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yoink." I hope they did that shit.
For new players, a 25-hour campaign
I
is
hope
already a
they
huge
did that
game with
shit.
lots of content. But for existing action RPG players, what you mostly care about is all the in-game challenges to overcome. So several months ago, we switched the entire development team's focus over to making in-game content. At the start of early access, there will be 50 bosses and around 400 monster types.
Jeez.
But the great thing is that the rest of the game is like 80% there. We'll be adding content to roughly double the size of the game during early access and into
Oh,
release. Now, in order to make the endgame happen at the same character level as what it would be after we added
Oh,
the rest of
they
the acts,
stopped
we've
the
added a
rest.
second difficulty level called Cruel, where you repeat the campaign with all the monsters and bosses leveled up.
Nice.
And of course, new
Hard
rewards. You can kind of think of it as like a new game plus. It's also a lot faster to get through the content the second time as your clear speed increases.
Yeah.
That will take you to around level 65, where the endgame begins. Once we add the remaining 3 acts, we'll be removing Cruel difficulty, so you'll progress straight from the end of Act 6 to endgame. But what is the endgame? To explain that, I'll hand over to Mark. He can tell you all about it.
Mark!
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Well, one thing that Path of Exile is known for is having a lot of distinct endgame content to choose between. Each endgame mechanic needs to have its own progression system, areas, bosses, rewards, and player power that can only be gained from that content. We are going to be adding a lot more over time, but for Path of Exile 2 we decided to start with 7 distinct systems you can progress through.
This is the Atlas, and it serves as the core of the endgame for Path of Exile 2. It's infinite and expands in all directions. Now, we are not going to spoil the plot too much here, but corruption from the beast has blighted the land, and your objective is to help fight it. In the center of the Atlas you will find the Ziggurat, a temple in which the
Ziggurat.
Val research the fundamentals of space and time. Here, we can open portals to nearby locations and begin cleansing corruption and finding resources.
Alright.
In order to power the portal device, we will need waystones. Each waystone has a tier which will determine the level of the monsters that you will face. To go to an area, simply click one that is adjacent to an area that you have already completed. Insert the waystone and click Traverse. Portals will open, allowing you and your party to travel to the area you have selected. All the areas in the endgame feel distinct from the locations in the campaign, and we have dialed the randomization up to 11. The monster packs you will face in each map are totally random, and the combination of them can lead to some very interesting combat situations. There are over 400 monster types in early access, and they have a lot of varied and interesting abilities. Depending on which combinations you face, you might find some serious challenges. In order to cleanse the corruption from the area, you will need to defeat all the powerful rare and unique enemies in it. Once you have done that, the area will be marked as completed and you will be able to travel past it to progress deeper into the world. If you die, then the map can no longer be run, and you will have to find another way around to get to the areas behind it.
Yo, that's
There
cool.
are also all kinds of other random encounters you might run into as you play maps. One such encounter are precursor artifacts. These are ancient, corrupting monuments that irradiate the monsters around them. The monsters that feed off the corruption are drawn to their power. If you defeat the monsters and cleanse the artifact, you will get a powerful temporary buff. Some of the buffs make you faster, others rain lightning
we
or
already
fire
know about
around
these
you,
buffs.
and some even give you increased experience or help you find better items. You can also find strong boxes. These enigmatic chests guard piles of treasure, but are always a trap. Monsters lie in
Always
wait
a
to
trap.
attack you the moment
Yeah,
you
I
open
remember
it,
these.
and the boxes often have mechanisms to unleash powerful spells or dangerous debuffs. There are different types of strong boxes containing different items, and you
No,
can
this is
even use your
different.
currency items to craft them on the fly, so you can optimize the contents. But be careful of opening one you can't handle. Sometimes you'll discover monsters frozen in essences, solidified crystalline corruption. These dangerous monsters can be broken free. If you defeat them, the essence they drop can be used to upgrade normal items to magic items with a guaranteed mod from a category.
Nice.
For example, we could use this one on some boots to ensure a movement speed mod. Rarely, essences will also drop that allow you to upgrade magics to rares, adding the guaranteed mod.
Sorcerer is looking real good.
This is incredibly powerful since it allows you to get a second deterministic mod in your crafting projects. Combining these with the currencies that are commonly found in Rayclast for modifying items, and we can get a very nice pair of boots indeed. Waystones, like all items, can also be crafted using your currency items. Adding prefix mods will improve the rewards, while suffix mods increase danger. The more dangerous a map is, the more waystones will drop. Adding mods to your waystones is key to
risk
progressing
and
to higher
reward is a
tiers
lot
and
in
sustaining
Path of
them,
Exile.
but it will require you to take on larger challenges. There are a variety of factors you'll have to consider when crafting your waystones. Some maps will have higher density, some lower, some have more magic and rare chests, or monsters, some are more linear, and others more open. Make sure you explore and think about what makes certain maps good if you want to maximize your returns. As you cleanse corruption from higher and higher tiers of the Atlas, you will gain points that you can spend in the Atlas tree.
Nice, so skill book.
This tree
nice.
allows you to juice the danger and rewards of all areas in the endgame. You could increase the number of monsters,
skills.
the number of rares, the number of precursor artifacts or strongboxes, even the quantity of item drops. As you explore the endgame world map, you'll notice various different biomes, from snow-capped mountains to dense jungle valleys. Most maps are restricted to certain biomes.
That
As you continue
frames.
to explore
Jeez.
deeper into the Atlas, there are all sorts of things to discover. These cities are constructed by different peoples of Rayclast and have specific items that can be found there. These strange structures marked on the map don't appear to do anything for now. Perhaps you'll work out how to use them later. You might find unique maps like Untainted Paradise, an undisturbed island full of beasts that give an extreme amount of experience. You may even find a lonely man just enjoying his retirement who will give you a unique item for free. In addition, you can find special
Very cryptic.
areas that would make a good spot to set up camp. Clear these areas of their hostile inhabitants, and you'll be able to claim them as your own hideout. You can decorate your hideout as you see fit and invite various NPCs to join you there to create your own personal base of operations. A great tool for exploration are towers. These mysterious precursor constructs are dotted around the Atlas. Completing the tower will reveal a large area around it, allowing you to scout out your next challenge. There are lots of things to find, so keep looking. Some sections of your Atlas are influenced by corruption. This adds extra modifiers to the maps in the region, increasing difficulty and rewards. Here, slaying monsters in close proximity to each other will cause the vestiges of corruption within them to merge together, forming powerful and grotesque abominations.
Oh, fuck no.
You may have noticed while looking at the Atlas that some of the areas have these icons above them. The icon indicates that the area contains some kind of special encounter. This icon indicates that the area has a powerful boss. Because only 1 in 4 maps contain a map boss, we are able to make them very powerful and very rewarding. These bosses come from the campaign, but have had their difficulty increased with changes to AI and some of their abilities. It's worth noting that because you can see where the bosses are, you can choose to take them on or avoid them. If you do choose to hunt bosses though, then you will be rewarded with special points for the boss hunting section of the Atlas skill tree. The points here will allow you to specialize in boss killing, giving you much greater rewards for defeating them.
Oh, okay, cool.
For each
So there's
different
a
type
skill
of content
tree.
in the endgame, we are adding specialized trees in order to make it so you don't feel the need to
mind,
respec
you
your
already said
points
it.
when you change between different types of content. We will be showing you 7 of these by the end of this presentation, so there is still a lot more to come. Bosses are not the only icon you will see on the Atlas. Let's take a look at one of the endgame systems, Breach. If you played PoE 1, you might be familiar with Breach. For PoE 2, we have created sequels to several PoE 1 leagues. While the mechanic is familiar, the monsters, bosses, rewards, and progression are all new. A breach is a tear in the fabric of reality. Opening it will allow you to see the demons and otherworldly monstrosities that lie in wait on this other plane of existence. By engaging with a breach, you'll create a bridge between their world and Rayclast. In order to keep the breach open, you will need to kill the demons that pour forth. The faster you can kill the monsters, the more monsters you will fight, and the more loot you will find. You can also find
I saw it
fast
back
tanks that
up
will
because
open
she
and
slowed
drop more
down.
items if you run over them. These can be a good boost to the rewards of the breach, so keep an eye out. One of the
you can
rewards
pass
that you
it.
may
Okay, cool.
find while fighting monsters from Breach are tablets. Tablets are special items that can be used with precursor towers to add more encounters to the Atlas. Breaches will drop breach tablets. Clicking on a completed tower will allow you to consume the tablet to add more breaches to areas within range of the tower. This makes all the content in the Atlas self-sustaining. Want to do more breaches? Find the tablets, add them to your towers, get more breaches, getting more tablets. Soon your Atlas will be covered in otherworldly domains. In addition, like all items in PoE, you can craft them. Use your currency to add mods to your tablets, allowing you to upgrade all the breaches in range. Tablets can have...
Yeah, I know that the information that they're giving you is kind of fast. I think this is almost done because they're about to do a Q&A here soon. As soon as they do the Q&A, we're going to stop and then play some Stalker 2. But basically what they're doing right now is showing endgame, and, you know, it's going to have a map with some modifiers and different ways of you getting different loot. The only thing you need to focus on is basically there's endgame for Path of Exile 2. Nothing really... Everything will be explained if you get the game, but basically he's just explaining endgame. That's it. There's just more stuff to kill at the end, you know.
Have up to 2 mods. These mods do things like adding extra rare monsters, extra clasped hands, or even monster density of breaches, allowing you to keep them open longer. Often you will find multiple towers near to each other with overlapping areas of effect. This can allow you to really juice the mechanic by stacking the mods from multiple tablets.
You don't need a reference for all the info.
In your fight to hold the breach demons at bay, you may want to use the
basically
powers of
Path of Exile is if you make if you increase the difficulty in the game, you will get better loot. That's it. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. All the other stuff is just unnecessary talking points, but it's necessary for most people that are interested in the game. But basically, all they're saying is if you modify the gameplay to where it's more difficult, you get better loot. Done. That's it.
In-game mechanic always has player power that can only be gained from that mechanic, and Breach is no different.
And I do love loot.
In Breach, you will find catalysts, items that can increase the quality of rings and amulets by improving
if you ever get the
mods.
game, all these
sort of find Breach rings,
items will give you the information
that can have
you
its
need.
quality improved by catalysts up to 50%. In this case, you could create a ring with around 170 life. Breach rings can become some of the strongest rings in the game, giving you some good motivation to face the demon hordes. In addition, each endgame mechanic needs to have a pinnacle endgame encounter. While killing breach monsters, you may find breach splinters. Collect enough of these and you'll be able to create a breach stone. Using a vile technology called the Realm Gate, you can use your breach stone to access their domain and bring the fight to them. In this twisted domain, you will find nothing but a single massive breach. Triggering it will reveal hordes of breach inhabitants.
Time is decreasing. Need to keep killing.
And should you be fast enough, you will be able to fight their leader, Zesht. We that are one.
We that dreamed. We in nightmare. We that are one. Fate lies true.
Sweet. Yeah, super fans love this sort of info. Oh shit.
This is just one of the pinnacle encounters of PoE 2. We won't be showing the rest of them, so you will have to discover them for yourself. But rest assured, this is some of the hardest content we have ever made. All of these encounters have specific uniques that can only be found from them, but that's not all. We still have the progression system. Defeating Zesht will give you points to allocate into the breach section of the Atlas tree. Allocating these points will make breaches and the breach domain even harder, but will give you more rewards. The small nodes will increase the difficulty of the twisted domain, while the large nodes have more specific bonuses. For example, this node adds more clasped hands to your breaches, and adds a pack of magic monsters that can guard them. Get some more points and you can allocate Waking Nightmare, which will double the number of splinters you get from clasped hands. enemies, and
Interesting.
inflict you with a mysterious debuff. In order to earn more points, you will need to defeat Zesht at a higher difficulty, and some rewards from Zesht can only be found by increasing the difficulty of the Twisted Domain above certain thresholds. Defeating Zesht at difficulty 4 will be a challenge indeed, but there are many more threats in Rayclast. Ritual altars are sacrificial sites built by the mysterious King in the Mists. If you encounter this symbol on the Atlas, then you know that the area contains ritual altars. Ritual altars demand tribute. Every monster you slaughter in the circle will feed the altar. After the sacrifice, touch it to begin the ritual. The monsters you just killed will be resurrected by the King of the Mist's dark magic, and you must fight to survive. The tribute you have offered to the altar can be spent to buy powerful items, but they can be expensive. To gain more tribute, you will want to find more altars. Each successive ritual you do within an area will spawn the monsters revived by the previous ones, in addition to the ones you sacrifice next to it. By the end of an area, you will be fighting a truly imposing number of foes, but will have a significant amount of tribute to spend. One of the rewards you can buy with tribute are omens. These are special items that allow for metacrafting. Crafting items that affect other crafting items.
I totally forgot
there's
there's
with good
crafting
prefixes
in this
but
game.
bad suffixes. This omen will help you to remove the mod you don't want while keeping the ones you do. There are a bunch more of these with different effects, but we will leave them for you to discover. Now don't forget that
Basically, all that crafting stuff that he's talking about is there's different ways to implement ways of changing the item that you gain. Let's say you found an item that particularly checks all the boxes that you want as like for your build, but you've already leveled up maybe 10 or 15 times. That item is starting to, wane. Well, with crafting, you're able to not only modify your set of skills and stuff for that item, be able to completely change it. You're also able to add some sockets to it, all this sort of stuff. They make it to where it's just like, if you you're going to find something that you want to keep pretty early in the game. But that's basically what they're saying. Out of all the stuff that he just said, you're always going to find something that you want, which is really good.
Ritual will also drop tablets, which can be used to specialize into getting more rituals. If you want to get to the pinnacle boss of Ritual, then you will probably want to use them. They can also be crafted to grant mods, making your rituals more rewarding. The pinnacle encounter of Ritual is the King in the Mists. Feared by the Azmeri people, he is said to have brought eternal darkness to the Wildwood. We won't show the encounter, but just like Breach, there are a range of unique items you can get for defeating him, and you will gain points in the Ritual section of the Atlas tree.
Interesting.
Some maps have been touched by insanity. A mysterious entity has taken a special interest in you.
Delirium?
Step through the looking glass and you will find your nightmares coming to life. When you touch a mirror, the mists of delirium will spread out across the area, infecting your mind. You must stay within the mist to maintain the nightmare, which is as profitable as it is terrifying. Everything you kill will increase the rewards that drop. However, the deeper into the mist you travel, the stronger the monsters are. Be careful not to overstay your welcome. Rare and unique enemies will become
that one's easy to
terrifying
understand.
demons who will
That one's really easy to understand. Go in there, kill as much shit as you can. If you go in deeper, things are gonna get harder. But if you lose everything. All that loot, you wasted your time, basically. Well, you're not really wasting your time. You're having fun. It's a video game. But yeah, that's pretty much the simple of it. And it'll show the loot right there.
manifest out of them to unleash powerful attacks on you. The mist also offers a strange crafting material, distilled emotions. By combining these emotions, you are able to instill your amulet with a notable from the passive skill tree. This is like gaining an extra passive point for free, attached to your gear. They are also particularly great because you don't have to traverse the tree to get them, allowing you to get off-class bonuses that would normally be much harder to get.
Oh!
Distilled emotions can also be used to instill...
Are you serious? Whoa, that's really good. So you can just, like, grab the thing that you wanted that's not part of the line of your... Bro, so many people have been asking for something like that, But we didn't know how to specify. Yo, you could just, if you get that item, you can literally just start a new line of stuff that you want. Bro, that is so good. So good.
That would normally be much harder to get. Distilled emotions can
That's
also
really
be
good.
used to instill your in-game maps, applying Delirious to them and adding additional difficulty and rewards, allowing you to further juice your in-game maps. The tablets you can find from Deliria can be used to further improve it, increase
Currency
pack
and trade,
size,
that's a really
make
good
the
question,
fog
Robert.
dissipate slower, or improve your progress towards the pinnacle encounter of Delirium. Speaking of which, every now and then you will find simulacrum splinters. The mysterious entity will create strange encounters based on warped versions of your own memories. Monsters and simulacrums come in waves that get progressively more difficult. You will receive loot at the end of each wave, and you will have to make the decision to leave now or continue on, facing up against even tougher foes from the mist. The bosses you will face as you get deeper into a simulacrum are truly terrifying. If you can complete a simulacrum, you will gain points for the Delirium section of the Atlas skill tree. Next up, we have Expedition.
Expedition.
Occasionally, while clearing corruption, you will encounter these Kalguran settlers. The Kalgurans have discovered ancient burial sites with lost Verisium artifacts, and they want you to help dig them up with explosives. The Kalgurans have marked the locations where the relics can be found. Place explosives as best you can to dig up as many as possible. There is just one problem. Corruption has brought the corpses of their ancestors to life, so you might have to do a little cleanup before you can reclaim the artifacts. You can also find remnants, the destruction of which will further anger the restless dead. Each one you blow up will make the subsequent monsters more powerful, but
That's really cool that I would have never thought of something like this, where all those little sticks in the ground is them setting up like a explosive wave, and you have to set them up in a sort of way. Each one of these glowing ones right here is where loot is, so you have to set up the lines of explosives around that set area so you can get that loot. That's so interesting.
also more rewarding. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin will exchange the artifacts for useful items and runic magic. You can also find tablets to increase the number of expeditions and the rewards. This one increases the radius of explosives, while this one increases the number of remnants you will find. Eventually, you might discover a logbook. These are
Logbook?
special maps full of buried treasure and relics.
I'm
Essentially,
listening.
one giant dig site. Here, you can create an extremely long chain of explosives and go through a very high number of remnants. But be careful, many remnants have mods that can really brick your build, so you will probably want to avoid these ones. If you add too many remnants, you could easily make the encounter harder than you can handle. There are all sorts of interesting things buried under the ground in logbooks. You might find dripping caves and empty pirate caches. But the most powerful encounter is Olroth, the ancient undead commander of the Knights of the Sun. Defeating him will grant you unique rewards, as well as points to spend in the expedition section of the Atlas tree.
Dude.
So those are the in-game systems on the Atlas, but we are not done yet.
Are you
The trials
serious?
we talked about earlier have much more content when you get to endgame too. Just like the other endgame systems, they also have progression mechanics, unique rewards, and player power that can only be gained from them. As you get higher level coins for the Trial of the Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore. Each floor has its own challenging rooms and a floor boss that you will need to kill.
Damn.
There are 4 floors in total, leading to another pinnacle boss at the end of the last floor, which can only be accessed at endgame. The Trial of the Sycamores is where you'll find jewels, which you can socket into your tree. These are like passives that you can craft with your currency items. They can be really powerful as they allow you to stack modifiers that may not be easily accessible on the tree normally. This jewel gives lightning damage and shock chance, for example. There are quite a few jewel sockets on the tree, so it's possible to gain a lot of power here. There are also other types of jewels that don't provide any bonuses themselves, but affect other passives surrounding them. This jewel increases the effect of small nodes and radius by 25%. With careful placement in the tree, you could get a significant amount of power from it.
You can modify your fucking skill tree, bro. You can modify it, bro. You could just put those man, I want this game, man. I have so many ideas. Ugh. Oh, I'm ready.
There are also unique jewels available with very interesting effects, but you will have to find those for yourself. In order to push further into the trial and uncover the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take advantage of its progression system, relics. Relics are items that can be placed in the relic altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example, this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have only 1 honor for the entire trial.
One
so you will
honor?
need to do a completely hitless run.
Yeah, and you're dead.
The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain inscribed ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you...
No, go back. Why is it 1? Because you need... yeah.
For the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take
I
advantage
wanna look
of its
at that
progression
thing.
system, relics. Relics...
Because in order for you to get good loot at the end, you have to have a lot of honor. But it's saying you only get 1 honor through the whole thing. But what do you get at the end?
Items that can be placed
That
at the
one right
relic
there.
altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example,
Zora the Eternal drops Temporalis. Maximum honor is 1. Cannot be used with trials below level 80. This item is destroyed when applied to a trial. In the coldest depths of the world, overrun by darkness and fighting to the last, life itself clung to existence. Okay, so that's just a little bit of lore. So let me get this straight. I think it's the keys. The keys at the end of the whole thing, them putting the relic down before you go in there significantly increases the chance of her getting really good keys. Really good keys means really good loot. So that's a really big relic right there, but you only can get a maximum amount of 1 honor. The honor you have means that you can stay. As long as the honor remains, you can stay within the realm. If this decreases the maximum honor down to 1, so whatever good shit you get at the end must be really good. You probably get gold keys out the ass or something like that, because the relics you put on there increases the chance of you getting really, really good keys.
this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have a...
So Ritual and Delirium are 2 of the most fed up mechanics. If you don't invest, then you get nothing but hyper invest. You need specific builds to handle it, but the loot is nuts. I thought so. The loot must be nuts. When's this supposed to release? Yeah, sometime next year. Definitely next year.
Only 1
Early
honor
access
for the
is coming
entire
in 2
trial.
weeks.
So you will need to do a completely hitless run. The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain inscribed ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you can go through increases. In true Val style, this allows you to take even more risks for even more rewards. At endgame, you can progress through up to 10 chambers with 3 bosses on a single run. Stacking 10 tribulations on top of each other will make this a significant challenge, but it's worth it. The Trial Master will tempt you with items of the Val Empire, such as Val Orbs. Val Orbs are powerful crafting items that corrupt your gear with random, mysterious outcomes. Corruption prevents an item from being modified further, so it has to be the last step of your craft. But it's also the most impactful one. For example, if you use one on your body armor, it might add a new powerful enchantment, or it might re-roll up to half of its modifiers. Vile Orbs also have the ability to add a socket, allowing you to bypass the normal restriction of how many sockets an item can have. A body armor could get up to 3 sockets this way, allowing for a significant number of mods. Vile Orbs can even modify uniques. Adding enchantments or sockets to uniques can make them incredibly powerful, but there is a good chance that you will break them as well. The Trial Master will also occasionally offer you Soul Cores. Originally formed by Chaos, the Vile sought to replicate Soul Cores through human sacrifice rituals and blood magic to power their civilization. Soul Cores are powerful,
I don't sense
socketable
any
items
goodness
with
in
mods
this
that
whole
cannot
fucking
be obtained
world.
from regular
That's
runes.
crazy.
Like all in-game content, there is of course a pinnacle boss. The final chamber will drop keys to this mysterious door. Some say this is where the Trial Master himself resides. Perhaps you are willing to take the risk to find out.
Oh, they
Had
don't
enough
want to
yet?
show us.
Because there is still just one more thing. The most difficult content in Path of Exile 2. While mapping, you might come across this fortress that has emerged from underground, surrounded by an enormous maze riddled with danger. Is the maze preventing something from getting in, or something getting out? This fortress is of ancient origin, and its construction has similarities to the towers and tablets that you have been using on your journey through the endgame. It is clear from the entrance that there are 3 keys required to enter. Local factions are vying for access to the fortress in order to seize the power they believe will be inside. Each of the faction's leaders have managed to get their hands on one of the keys, so you will need to defeat them. Each faction is led by an Uber Act boss. You can see one of them inhabiting
So you have
the
to
city.
defeat the
But in order
bosses to
fight
get to
him,
the pinnacle
you will
boss.
first need to
Got
defeat
it.
their 2 lieutenants in the adjacent zones.
Oh,
Be
they're
careful.
lieutenants or
if you fail
generals.
against
Yeah.
either of the lieutenants, or to kill the leader, they will move on, and you will need to find them again.
Oh!
All the Uber bosses, and you will gain access to the fortress. We aren't going to spoil it, as we can't wait to see you guys attempt it for the first time. But
Okay.
is there a tree you get points in after
How
killing
many people you
it?
can
Of
bring
course
in there?
there is. This is Path of Exile. There is always another tree.
So these are your challenges for PoE 2. As you can see, this project is crazy huge, way bigger than even we expected when we started out. But how do you gain access? Well, during early access you'll need a key to get in. To thank our
The
existing
nicest people
PoE
are just
supporters
grave
who have spent
robbers?
more than
Yeah.
$480, we'll be giving you guys a key for the PC version for free. Anyone else who wants one can get one by purchasing one of the new early access supporter packs
What the
that
hell
have
is
just
that
been
one on
released
the
to the
left?
store. If you just want early access to PoE 2, then you can get a key in the $30 early access pack. The pack also comes with $30 of points to spend in the MTX store. But we also have a variety of other supporter packs filled with exclusive microtransactions, points to spend in the store, and even physical
You're
items.
going in the 100 mark.
The cosmetics can be used
not
right
happening.
now in PoE 1 and in
No.
Path of Exile 2 when early access
No,
starts.
you're going too far down.
Most of this footage has been recorded
Stop
in
at
Path
30,
of Exile
thank you.
1, since that's where you can use them immediately. The Lord of Ogham supporter pack contains a cosmetic armor set befitting of the Count of Ogham himself. There is also a matching back attachment which has an alternate variant depicting the influence of corruption. Also in this pack, you
Those
can
remind
find a
me of
portal
Elden
formed
Ring.
of the rusted armor of the fallen soldiers in the Red Vale of Ogham, and the offspring of a vicious crowbell boss found in the hunting grounds.
He's
This
cute,
one doesn't
though.
look so vicious though. On top of that, you'll receive the Iron Count's Y-Hander to apply to your one-handed or
That thing
two-handed
is dope.
swords. For those who are wanting to decorate your hideouts with fond memories and tales of Path of Exile's history,
Decorate your hideout,
you will also
sweet.
get a series of hideout statues. This pack contains the statue of Hillock. For Path of Exile 1's closed beta, each pack contained a true New Zealand icon, the Kiwi. Following this tradition, all packs in this series will also contain a new themed Kiwi pet. The pet will loyally follow you into battle, but run away at the first sign of trouble. Become the
Then
ruler
I'll
of the
never
desert
see him.
with the King of the Faradin supporter pack. Show your mastery of
Pulled a
traversing
worm
the
out the
sands of
ground.
the Vasteri Plains. The body armor will allow you to glide along the ground with ancient sand magic. Now each armor set comes with body armor, boots, gloves, and helmet, but the boots are covered in sand. If you'd prefer to show them off, you can turn the gliding off if you want. The accompanying back attachment equips you with 2 powerful pillars that can control and manipulate lightning. They will periodically release their energy in a powerful blast while in town, and hover in a circle around you, arcing lightning between them, forming a barrier of energy. Replace the appearance of any bow with the Faradin's Glory skin. Or replace the appearance of a spear with the Tyranny's End spear skin. This spear skin can be applied to staves and
Did they just say that an item that you can buy can do damage? Those two pillars. Oh.
War staves in Path of Exile 1. If you want to truly show your worth as a king of the Farad'n, then you definitely need your trusty, moving, entire city fortress known as the Dreadnought to travel across the Vasteri Plains. In Path of Exile, you can decorate your hideout however you like, and it's no exception here. It comes with a variety of thematic elements to use, or use decorations from elsewhere in the game. Additionally, you will get the Deshret's Blessing level up effect.
That's
the King
cool.
of the Farad'n Kiwi pet. And last but not least, a statue depicting the Vaal Oversoul from Path of Exile 1.
Were you thinking of what I was thinking, Hobo?
For those who don't know how supporter packs work, each pack comes with all of the cosmetics from the previous tier, so you'll get all the items from the Lord of Ogham supporter pack as well.
Yeah, I don't know about...
The Thaumaturge of the Vaal supporter pack features an armor set and back attachment themed around the Vaal and their pursuit of science and progress. You can find the Soul Core weapon effect in this pack, which causes thaumaturgic energy harnessed from sacrifice to spill from your weapon. This pack also contains Doryani's Idol. It replaces the default appearance of any foci to an ancient...
Nah, they don't do that for paid stuff. Only power you get is from stash tabs. Yeah, I know. I don't like to get the best loot. You basically need to be a hyper-focused build. Like in PoE 1. No, it's not like that. The economy is a different thing, but there are multiple. Wait, hold on. Let me see what you just said. Oh, to be a hyper focused build. No, I think we're gonna play it together and we're gonna find out. How about that? Some heavy microtransaction magic going on in here. The game is free. They're gonna have this. It is what it is, which is going to simplify the builds that are viable, making the game break down to 4 or 5 builds. I don't think so. They've already discussed that they're trying to break away from the mold of doing hyper builds, so that people can have multiple types of that was their one main concern. Is they're trying not to give you guys less in Path of Exile 2. They're basically trying to make it difficult for streamers and YouTubers to make a meta build. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, like, they're trying to build their game into like, oh, they're going to have to make like 100 videos on multiple builds then. I know Fexture Life is going to do that, but the other YouTubers out there, I know they're gonna do like, this is the build that will never die and that sort of thing. This is what you need to do. There is so many different I've been watching a lot of smaller FAQ videos where the person that's talking right now, that was their main focus, was to give the YouTubers that focus on PoE a harder time to like come up with like that one meta build. Now they're gonna make several meta builds. So I think that's really cool. I do not like microtransactions though. Yeah, even though the game's free, I don't like microtransactions. I think I will just stick with PoE 1. Has a lot more viable builds going into the end game. Wait. You just said that it just only. You said. Wait. I don't like that to get the best loot, you basically need to be a hyper focused build like in PoE 1. Wait, you just said that about PoE 1. But you want to stay on PoE 1. Okay. All right. It's fine.
Relic once used by Doryani, and this can be applied to shields in Path of Exile 1. That's not the only Vaal weapon you'll find. It also contains the Wand of the Thaumaturge skin, and the Royal Sacrifice Dagger skin. You wouldn't think to put sacrificial gems on a Kiwi, but the Vaal did. Thaumaturge of the Vaal supporters will receive the Thaumaturge of the Vaal Kiwi pet, and the Statue of Dominus. This is also the first pack in the series with a physical item.
Yeah, true, Vine.
When purchasing this pack, you'll receive a Path of Exile 2 logo t-shirt, but if you don't want one, you can opt out and return for additional points to spend in the store. Becoming a warlord of the Karui supporter will grant you an armor set and back attachment adorned in jade carvings and iridescent feathers resembling power. Enough to even impress the ancestral gods, specifically Tukohama, the Karui god of war.
No.
Overkill, you say? I think the Karui people would disagree. Why not drop a gigantic totem on rare enemies you slay to crush them to a pulp? Replace your crafting bench in your hideout with the Ancestral Canoe crafting bench, where Ancestral Chief Mata will summon a giant canoe manned by Karui warriors to aid in your crafting desires.
We must all start somewhere.
You'll also get a pair of weapon skins. Equip Akoya's Felling Axe skin to your one-hand or two-handed axes, or Tukohama's Crusher to your one-handed or two-handed maces. A true Karui warlord is always accompanied by their trusty Kiwi.
I keep on forgetting New Zealand has
ancestral magic. They make the perfect sidekick. Once one of the most feared beings in...
I keep on forgetting that New Zealand is a meld of different is a meld of different races and cultures. One of them being like the what is it? Those people that always go like, hello, and I'm like, I remember there was something online where there was a political dispute to where there was a bill that they wanted everybody to sign that would give every culture like pretty much they're trying to flatten, basically say, hey, everybody's equal. Everybody can do what they want. Like this is basically what they were doing in New Zealand when it came to politics. Like anybody, it doesn't have to be towards, the Maori. Yeah. Basically the Maori had importance over much cultures in New Zealand. I don't know what it was. But apparently their bill changed it to where it's like multiple cultures. Every culture has pretty much the same staying power. It doesn't have to be just the Maori. Where this one it's the new bill was just like, well, now everybody can do it. And then they got pissed and then they ripped up the paper and then they just started going, hele. And I'm just like, I need to see the paper. I need to see what it is. I want to see what they were so upset about that they had to scream in the fucking court. And I read the script of the thing and I was like, this thing is basically just saying that all cultures are equal now. They all cultures are equal. That's it. And they're like, nah, we on top. And I'm like, are you sure about that? And I'm like, I'm reading it. And I'm just like, yeah, it's saying that all cultures are equal now. It's not just about the Maoris. It's about everyone and everybody else's culture. And they got upset about it. And I read it. I'm just like, that's the bill. I'm like, all right, okay.
In Rayclast, Malachi
I'm never going to fucking New Zealand, but thank you for
commemorate the virtue of Exile's
thank
past,
you for this
present,
lovely
and
game.
the future. Of course, it's not all about dressing up in game. You'll want to look good in real life too. By becoming a warlord of the Karui supporter, you'll also get a Path of Exile.
Who has the bigger wallet? Oh yeah, it's always about the
final tier of supporter pack in the series is the Liberator of Rayclast supporter pack.
Yeah.
The Liberator of Rayclast armor set and back attachment come made with...
I don't like microtransactions. I might skip this, but basically it was going below average said basically it was going to make everybody equal. Maui people get unique benefits like first dibs on healthcare law is to prevent that. Yes, that's what it was. Sorry, I read it like 2 or 3 days ago and I remember bits and pieces, but yes, that's exactly what it was. It was weird. I was like, is it say anything negative to the Maori? And it didn't. And they got mad. I was like, what the hell? I'm going to skip the whole thing right here. Nobody cares about the... Is there anything else that they wanted to talk about? Oh, they're going to Q&A. Yeah, we don't care about Q&A. Okay? All right, we don't care about that. That was a wonderful video, guys. Awesome. We don't care about microtransactions. We care about the game. Can't wait for the early access to come out. Let's go play some video games. Appreciate you guys seeing this video. See you in a bit.